I'm Dan Haggerty, and I'm the producer on Medal of Honor Vanguard for the Nintendo Wii. Medal of Honor Vanguard for the Nintendo Wii is a authentic World War II experience, very much in the Medal of Honor, classic Medal of Honor gameplay style. With a new twist, we've added, with the Wii controls, you've got the nunchuck and the remote, and it adds a whole new dimension to the gameplay. It gives the player an unprecedented level of control over their movement, over their firing, and over their aiming in the battlefield that makes it even that much more realistic and that much more fun. The controllers, what you've got are you've got the traditional button controls, but you've got a whole bunch of different gestures. For instance, you can do a melee gesture where you take the Wii remote and you thrust it forward, which makes the butt of your gun thrust forward and hit the guy, which is a very satisfying gesture to do. We've got the grenade toss, which you use the Wii remote and you can actually pull back and throw the grenade, and with some practice you can actually get really accurate with grenades. The nunchuck is really all about movement. You can use it to crouch and go prone. You can also jump, and both using the buttons on the nunchuck as well as gestures. We've also got a 180-degree gesture, which is really useful in multiplayer. If somebody comes up from behind you, you can just flick your nunchuck to the left and you can wheel around 180 degrees and shoot at them. The story you play as Corporal Frank Keegan of the 82nd Airborne Division, and it's over 4 of the biggest and most famous airborne battles in World War II history. Operation Market Garden, which was the single largest airdrop in the history of the war, Operation Varsity, Operation Neptune, and Operation Husky, all of which were huge decisive battles in World War II, and each campaign starts with a jump level where you actually jump out of an airplane, and you actually have parachute controls, which again with the nunchuck and the remote, you actually control your parachute. You can turn, you can slow your descent, you can speed your descent, and actually you land into a very hot battlefield where combat is raging. So when you land, you've got to quickly figure out where you're at, where your enemies are at, where your buddies are at, and get into the fight and stay alive. The parachute controls, and one of the cool things about Vanguard is you can actually land in certain spots on the battlefield, and a lot of them are designated with smoke. And if you land in those spots, you can get a weapon upgrade, or it might just be a strategically advantageous position for you to maybe not get shot at so much and survey the battlefield, and maybe with a long-range rifle take some guys out and support your squad. So there's a lot of replayability with the levels. You can play the same level several times and land in lots of different spots, and it's a lot of fun. Well, it's a teen-rated title, and it is, like all the Medal of Honor games, teen-rated, and it's we really tried to make it the most accessible first-person shooter on the Wii platform. The Wii controls are a completely new paradigm for gamers, whether they're young or old. Well, the challenge we had with the first-person shooter controls was you have the nunchuck and the Wii remote, which are 2 analog controls with both analog controls on them in terms of the pointer and the thumbstick. They also have digital controls with the buttons. And you also have 3 controls sets in the game. You've got movement, you've got the view of your head, and then the movement of your gun. So all Wii shooters have the gun and your head view bound to the Wii remote. And what we found was that was a big challenge for us to get it so that when you move the Wii remote around, you wanted to move your gun and aim at somebody. You didn't move it around so much that you got disoriented. And what we found is watching, especially people who are new to the Wii, have never played the Wii before, they knew they had to move, and they knew it was a gesture-based game. So they'd make these big, wild gestures, and things would kind of fly all over the place. And so one of the learning curves of the game is, with all Wii games, is learning to control your body and learning to make movements that the game can recognize, but aren't so wild that you kind of lose your place. And as well as other things like how do we make a grenade toss gesture? How do we do things like leaning? And like our lean function we're really proud of. When you go into the iron sights mode, where you sort of bring your gun up and the sight is right there, when you're in iron sights mode, you don't move on the battlefield. You're set in one position. So we allow you to, with the thumbstick, actually lean to the left or the right, and you can even lean up and over cover. So it's really great if, let's say, you're crouched behind a box. You can lean around the box to the left or the right. And it's not a digital lean like a digital button, it's analog. So you can lean out a little or a lot. And you can as well, you can lean up over cover, which is something that hasn't been done before. And it's really, it gives players a lot of control. They feel very comfortable. And, you know, in a game like this where you're running from cover point to cover point, it gives you the advantage of having a lot of control over where your gun is and where you're going to place your shot. The other big challenge was in keeping your gun steady when you're aiming. We looked at all the different shooters that were out there, and we looked at all these different schemes and tried a lot of different ways to give the player control, and spent a lot of time iterating and trying different things. And we've settled into what we think are a pretty good set of controls that are a lot of fun and they're easy to use. Multiplayer is a 4-player split screen. We've got several different game modes, classic deathmatch and capture the flag. We also have a King of the Hill mode where you stand by a point, and the longer you stand by the point, the more points you get. There's we put in a bunch of cheat codes, and one of the cheat codes we put in is it's just a lot of fun. It actually turns your bullets into grenades, so you can run around the game. It's like you play through the game, you know, you're firing bullets, you're throwing grenades, but it's another thing entirely to be shooting grenades everywhere. And you know, you see a bunch of Germans off in the corner or something hiding behind cover, and you'll just kind of fire off about 20 bullets, and about 3 or 4 seconds later they'll all explode. It's just a lot of fun. Kind of adds a whole new dimension to the game. Makes you want to play through it again. Thanks for letting me tell you about the game. Medal of Honor Vanguard for the Wii and the PlayStation 2 ships on March 26th.